Alright, so once I saw that this typo was printed on a majority of the tickets, I knew that we were going to be in for a rough ride.
I'm the librarian, and I came to read.
State of the Union. Say it with me, sis, because apparently that's what it is. The State of the Union. I'm not going to talk about every single piece and part of his speech, but I'm going to speak on many of the issues that I had with a lot of the bullshit that he was saying. And bitch, I was not the only one. After the speech, Kamala Harris was dragging. I know Maxine's gonna be dragging tonight. Let's break down certain pieces of it. Before I get into it, make sure you're going to fortheculturepodcast.com. We released a new episode on Tuesday entitled Listen to This Track, Bitch, and it featured one of my good ass friends, Fonz Frank. He's a talented ass writer, so go ahead on, as I said, fortheculturepodcast.com and listen to the episode. Patreon.com/Asian Expression. They got this video first, so catch up, mustards. Okay, I know he didn't say this in the beginning, but I felt like this quote represents the crisis that we're in today. He said, this is what Trump's old bloated orangutan's shaped head ass said. He said, in America, we know that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the center of democracy. And I said, girl, bitch, where? Bitch, you said we need faith and family, not government and bureaucracy. I said, bitch, where? Bitch, what are you talking about? Separate church and state. But as I said earlier, this represents the majority of the problems that we have in this country. Bitches are going on faith and family, friends and feelings and emotions instead of fucking bureaucracy and government. Let's hop right into it. The Black Caucus was sitting there just like this, okay? The Black Caucus was like, girl, I don't know if y'all do you want a cookie for this shit? You want a pat on the back? But we're gonna sit our asses down. We're just here because the bell hasn't rung yet. So of course, Donald Trump went up there saying, yes, sis, black unemployment. And he tried to drag Jay-Z with this shit. And I'm gonna get into why this shit is so idiotic. He said black unemployment is the lowest it has ever been. And while that's correct, let's start with the fact that white unemployment is 3.7 and black unemployment is 6.8. So while black unemployment might be the lowest it has ever been, if the country's unemployment rate as a whole was 6.8, we would be talking about a recession. People are angry that the Black Caucus wasn't standing up, girl. Okay, I'm glad it's the lowest it has ever been, but since it's still almost double white, so that's the first problem. We're not even getting to the fact that white families have a median net worth of $171,000, while black families, median net worth is $17,600. So there it goes again, Black Caucus. And then on top of that, the man that you criticized for 8 whole years, the policies of his administration has helped the black unemployment rate go down. You were dragging his ass and now you're taking credit for his shit, girl? I don't understand that. And suddenly you're celebrating the black community when, you know, a couple months ago, weren't you talking about, girl, what else do you niggers have to lose? Like, you were like, what else do you blacks have to lose? Your shit is in shambles. You don't have no, the inner cities are all fucking, weren't you just dragging us? And now you're talking about, oh, the black unemployment rate so low. Girl, get out of here with your disingenuous ass. One of the quotes that he said was, we have eliminated more regulations than any administration in the history of our country. Now, while that is half true, I'm not sure why we're celebrating the lack of rule. Girl, I'm gonna move on from that shit. This whole State of the Union address was just people in privilege pretending like they're victims, okay? And one of the times he did that shit, he said, girl, they're attacking America's energy, girl. You know, we need to invest and we need to make sure that clean coal is around. I'm just looking like, damn. What the hell is the clean coal? That sounds like me getting a wife. It doesn't sound logical at all. It doesn't make any sense. It goes against all odds. It breaks the very rules of reality, the fabric of existence. It doesn't make any sense. It's an oxymoron. What the fuck are you talking about? Clean coal. That's like heterosexual Adrian. It doesn't make, it's not gonna happen. The Republican Party sitting over here defending an established ass, you know, energy industry, oil industry, because there's money to be made. They're being paid off at the expense of our fucking environment. So it's just like, girl, when the earth continues to drag and read the shit out of us, y'all talk about natural disaster and shit. I don't know what to do, girl. Just remember this moment. Y'all hoes talking about clean coal. He wanted us to get up and jump for joy because he said, you know, the individual Obamacare mandate, what did he say, Obamacare? He did say Obamacare, but I'm gonna let him and his flabby ass cheeks keep it moving. But he said, yes, the individual mandate for Obamacare is gone, sis. And you know, people were getting up and clapping, and these are some of the reactions of throughout his speech. They were just not impressed, okay? They're not impressed. So now 13 million people apparently will go uninsured that I'm supposed to be, oh yes, ma'am, yes, I'm so glad the individual mandate is gone. I'm gonna be sitting just like the Black Caucus. If you expected an applause from me, girl, you're gonna be waiting a long periodically time.
And wait a long periodically time.
He went on to act like we're just this good Samaritan to every country that's struggling. Yeah, he went on to act like we're just sending out aid and we're helping all these people out. Girl, and he even brought up Puerto Rico, our friends in Puerto Rico. Girl, you left them out to dry. Let me read some facts, because it seems like Donald Trump was trying to rebrand by using all these false ass statements. Let me read you the real tea. A third of Puerto Rico still lacks electricity, and yet FEMA will officially shut off tomorrow. They will stop providing food and water tomorrow, and yet 1 million people still don't have power, and 118,000 don't have access to clean goddamn water. And if we are one of the most developed countries in the goddamn world, we should be able to help people out while y'all are out here funding our fucking military, and we already have the strongest one in the history of the goddamn world. There are other priorities other than blowing shit up, sis. I understand that we do need defense. A country ain't shit without goddamn defenses. But damn, can we give our kids lunch? Jesus. He loved bringing up this deceptive ass tax cut. It's just like, yeah, girls, y'all hoes are gonna get $1,000 over the span over a year. And we might have gotten that money by laying off other people in different locations, sis, but at least you got your $1,000 over a span of a year, girl. Girl, and even then, girl, the corporate tax cuts are not permanent, and the middle class tax cuts will eventually expire, and millions of people will end up paying more money. So it's just like he's selling you this short-term ass dream that doesn't make any sense, not founded in any type of logic, and we're supposed to jump for joy over this peppermint candy that you're giving us, but in the next hour it's like, girl, where's the real meal at? We're still starving. You gave us this cute ass piece of gum, but bitch, I can't eat that shit. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna be fooled by your ass. Now you can bet your bottom dollar if Donald Trump accidentally said Russia in his speech, it's because he was trying to get someone to hurry up. Rush your ass up here. Okay, that's what he meant to say. Donald Trump did not say shit about Russia's old deceptive, conniving, election meddling, trying to get Americans to commit treason shaped head ass. He didn't say shit about that ass. And it's very interesting because almost unanimously Congress is like, girl, we need to make sure we punish Russia for that dumb shit they were doing. And they voted their shit into law, and the president said, well, girl, I'm not gonna enforce these sanctions. So that's the background of what we have. And now in this speech, he didn't say shit about Russia, girl. The treason is happening in broad daylight. I think somebody's foreign intelligence official from Russia came over here to meet with some of these people in DC. So it's just like, girl, it's happening broad daylight. You're not fooling me. Kiss my black ass like the caucus is telling your ass right now. So as I said, people in privilege have been using this type of rhetoric to act like they're the ones who are struggling. And one of the things that Donald Trump liked to say in his speech was that Americans are dreamers too. And it's just like, girl, this all lives matter built ass bullshit that you're trying to say. Well, girl, it's our country too. Yes, bitch, it's your country. That's why life is so goddamn easy for you if you're a natural born citizen. It's easier for you as opposed to other people who are trying to make they see America as making a better life for themselves, even though half the time that shit is not true. They come here and it's a different story. But whatever, y'all branded yourself like that throughout the whole global community, acting like America is the best country in the motherfucking universe. So yeah, so they come here expecting a certain lifestyle, or if not for themselves, to give a certain lifestyle to their kids. I mean, people are struggling to make ends meet in a foreign land, and you're over here saying, well, my life is bad too. I wish that people would understand what advantages they have and start using them to benefit people who may not be that well off in life. Like, girl, it's not that hard to have some goddamn compassion. I want to use this moment quickly to talk about Melania. Apparently in the history of the United States, you can correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time that a first lady did not travel with the president of the United States to the State of the Union address. I was just like, okay, sis. And Melania came in there just like, okay, hey sis, all right, I'm glad that, okay, let me sit my ass down. Let me wait for this old ugly ass man to finish talking so I can get back to my motherfucking house, okay? A key, I didn't want to be here anyway, thanks, bye. And remember that Melania has already apparently spent $700,000 so far in order to live away from the president. So everything is a circus, no Britney Spears. So to further his point, he liked to use specific examples. He liked to use anecdotes and not keeping in mind the trend of what's going on. So what he liked to do to diminish immigrants and smear them as all gangsters, he used the MS-13 gang. He brought a grieving ass family up there and saying, hey, MS-13 killed somebody that they loved, and this is why we have to build a wall and get all these immigrants out of here. That's what he was saying. It's very interesting that he used MS MS-13 because the local police force is just like, girl, we don't know why the administration is putting so much emphasis on MS-13 when that's not even in our priority. So MS-13 is just the perfect villain for them, even though Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, they deported 114,434 people last year, according to the data given to CNN, and yet MS-13 only made up 429 of those. So they're exaggerating the issue. Let's keep it moving. Most gang-related crime is committed by natural-born Americans. Sanctuary status has little to no impact on crime, according to a 2017 study conducted by the University of California, Riverside, whose findings have been misrepresented by Sessions. So they just said, okay, let me go down the list. Okay, MS-13, Latina. Oh, girl, yes, that's perfect. Bitch, we are taking little ass anecdotes and we're applying them and not keeping in mind the trend. Yes, of course, every issue, every murder is a problem. But if we're talking about immigrants and if we're talking about gang violence, let's not act like all of them are gang members. The data is telling us that American-born gangs should be our priorities, not immigrants. So let's not smear their asses. Let's not. Okay, and it's the same thing that you're doing for this man who came from North Korea. He escaped North Korea, and you were trying to do that. You're trying to bash North Korea. Maybe getting underneath Kim Jong-un's skin is just something like a pastime for your ass. I don't want to be blown to smithereens, so I would suggest a different approach. Either way, your ass is using an individual anecdote. You're using one person who escaped North Korea, and you're celebrating him surviving and escaping an oppressive state, an oppressive government, and yet you can't have that same compassion. You can't have that same depth of analysis when you see people trying to survive the oppressive state, which is the United States of America. You're dismissing the stories of minorities, but yet you're taking this person who survived North Korea and exalting him. Now, he should be exalted, he should be celebrated, but we also have to celebrate the millions of people who are surviving in this country in the face of discrimination and abandonment. All right, so those are the major issues that I wanted to cover. I know that there are a lot more, but I kind of want to get to the Democratic response now and our response. Before I get into that, the Koch brothers, or the Koch network, plans to spend $400 million in the midterm elections. They're not playing, okay? They said that the left is energized, that's the word that they use, and they're prepared to essentially go to fucking war. Bitch, they're spending $300 to $400 million on this next. So we do not have time to be playing around. That's why, you know, when I saw Joe Kennedy get up there, I was so happy. I was like, girl, you better read these. He said we might be facing bullies, they might leave a mark, they might hurt us, but essentially they can't ever break our spirit. He went up and verbalized the words Black Lives Matter. He said the words supremacy is marching in our streets. Like, he said that we have a lot of shit to do. And this is cute. I loved it. I loved the speech. I loved everything about it. But I'm just like, girl, we as the resistance, you may not necessarily be a Democrat or whatever, but as the resistance, we have to do more than, oh yes, this was a cute speech. I loved it. He was so great. We have to translate this shit into action. We need to take our energy and hope, and instead of always translating it into applause, we need to take that shit and come up with strategies and some plans. I think that Joe Kennedy definitely is a great speaker. I haven't done a lot of research into him, so I don't know exactly what he stands for, if I'm being honest. I'm sure you guys can tell me, but he seems to get the message across, and it's very inspiring to see him speak. But as I said, I'm tired of clapping for hoes that give cute speeches. I'm tired of saying, yes ma'am, that sounds like a good idea, bitch. I want to see the action. I want to see what the fuck are we doing. I want to see steps being taken. You see what I'm saying? Be just as vicious as the Republicans when it comes to getting your shit done. This kumbaya bullshit does not work all the time. Sometimes battles need to be won, okay? So yeah, that essentially covers my summary or my analysis of the State of the Union. I will be waiting on Miss Maxine and Angela Rye to get in on that ass later on tonight. I might do a cute little live stream. Make sure you keep your eye open for that. It's interesting that the very points and anecdotes that Donald Trump tried to use to turn Democrats on his side actually solidified the fact that this next year is going to be very partisan, because he lacks such an understanding of the working class, the middle class, poor people who are not rich in this country, that they don't see that these exceptions to the rule that they brought to the speech does not apply to them. For example, Kamala Harris went on afterwards and said, girl, it's cute that you're talking about energizing our economy and the stock market, but what does that mean to everyday Americans when 84% of the stocks in the United States are owned by 10% of the population? He and his administration have to do deeper thinking than what y'all are used to. Honestly, probably deeper thinking than y'all are capable of. Have a good goddamn evening.